This is the new logo for the Punisher. It's still a skull, but it has a pair of horns, some fangs, and it basically has a little bit more details denoting its skull. Its design is clearly drawn from the Japanese mythical creature, the Oni. But why are we seeing this change? And is this change necessary? This is the unique problem of the Punisher. Designed in 1974 by Jerry Conway, this logo belongs to Frank Castle. Introduced as an adversary for Spider-Man, he would go on to be the textbook anti-hero, a ruthless vigilante who will kill by any means necessary. He is an outlaw who does not believe in the justice system. Now, the logo itself is a flat designed, minimal and heavily stylized rendition of the human skull, and features the signature elongated teeth of the upper jaw. Often white on a black background, it's usually sported on a t-shirt or painted or sprayed over some tactical gear. Its simplicity, boldness, and the fact that it's memorable makes it one of the most recognizable marks out there today. Now, why has it become controversial? Well, the logo has been co-opted for political reasons. Its use in certain contexts mean that you are pro-law enforcement, and it has been branded on uniforms, vehicles, as well as military tactical gear. It became the center of attention after the January 6th insurrection, and it became pretty divisive in how it was then used. Comic book fans have called for an intervention with the logo and its use, which is probably why we're seeing this change in the first place. Now, I'd like to ask the question, is this change necessary? I'd say yes, for the sake of conversation. So it's no secret that whenever a new design or a design change has been brought about, it's almost always met with backlash. Think about the subtle changes that happened with the Discord logo. I mean, what they did was they revised the logo and they updated the saturation and the colors, and people were absolutely livid. The Bandai Namco logo update and the F1 revamp are just a couple of other examples that show you what the hell happened and how people received changes for existing logos. Well, this is a little different. Some people feel like Marvel is getting too woke and that people are focusing way too much on changing things that were already perfect. Others feel that Marvel shouldn't change the logo but should rather take action on the people who are using it in these contexts that do not fit traditionally with what the Punisher stands for. There's a little bit of rain in the outside and I wonder if it's gonna mess with this. Others feel that they should double down on the stories addressing the matter, and which is something that they've already done within the past. But now, I labeled this video why the Punisher logo has a unique problem. Let's get into what I think about that. So first of all, because it's too popular. Most superheroes in their design are brightly colored and are outlandish in their look. The Punisher is far more grounded in its design. Simply black and white, and a simple, really large and bold skull placed on the hero's torso. So it doesn't feel too out of place when placed on a t-shirt, because if you think about the popularity of skulls on t-shirts, it kind of fits in. Because it's so stylized and so unique, it really stands out as opposed to, you know, an anatomically correct skull. Is it anatomically or is it biologically? Do they both mean the same thing? I don't know, let me know. I'm not a life science guy. But basically, all things said and simply put, it just looks badass. So because of this, it's loved, in spite of the fact that people might not even know about Francis of the Gothic architecture. And secondly, the mixed messages. So Conway in a recent interview credited the popularity of the logo to the film American Sniper. And if you haven't seen it, dear God, is it awesome? It's an amazing movie where the characters, well, the soldiers in the film had sprayed the logo all over their gear as well as all over their vehicles too. And this is probably done because the Punisher and the soldiers in Afghanistan have matching ideologies. We are good going out to use any means necessary to stop evil, primarily by killing them or shooting them in the head. Which gets even weirder when you think about it being used by law enforcement. They're supposed to inherently promote due process, the idea that if you're arrested, you're held to the full extent of the law. You need to be prosecuted for your crimes and you need to have the ability to defend yourself. But now, it seems to fit with the existing ideology that police officers in America have, which is the idea that you are at war with the larger public and criminals that are out there. It kind of makes sense for them to have that warrior mentality in spite of the fact that it's way too much of an overreaction, and with the existing prejudices that they have, it becomes a serious problem. You're going out there on the streets with the warrior mentality, and you're basically labeling the general public as your potential enemy. Another problem with that is due process is completely thrown out of the window. We now have a situation where this very popular, very well executed logo is being loved by people who promote the idea of overwhelming violence. They are ought to uphold certain ideals within the public more than anything. A lot of the people who sport this logo in support of the troops, in support of law enforcement, in support of the Blue Lives Matter movement, don't even care about the comic books. That means that no matter how hard you shout about how you misunderstand the context of the logo, if they don't care about all that kind of stuff and they just love how amazing this logo looks, this means that even if Marvel were to create this exceptionally dope story about how Frank Castle would then address white nationalists, they're not gonna care. Because to them, they've already assigned that meaning that this is a skull, and skull means badass, and I'm badass, and you know, skull plus me equals extra badass. Now, because of all of that, it's not really gonna matter if you even set back that change and walk it backwards. It's still gonna be something that they're gonna stick to. In conclusion, just to summate the whole thing, this is the unique problem that's being proposed. This logo has been well executed and it's been in circulation since 1974. We've seen several variations of this logo, which is not uncommon when you think about superhero designs. Let's just look at Batman. Batman has had several iterations of, you know, the bat symbol that's displayed on his chest. The only other time where you barely see any real variation is when you see the logo that's being shot up into the sky. But outside of that, you can find several diagrams that show you that in different shows, different comics, different eras, in different contexts, which tells you this new Punisher logo is likely to be one of many more variations we've seen. Basically, this logo is too damn popular, and in its popularity it's developed a new meaning, but somehow misses on the nuance that this is the reflection of a man who's broken, a man who might have suffered the traumas of war, and is going out of their way to enact their own brand of justice, which is shoot first and ask questions second. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe if you like this content. Leave a comment below letting me know what you think about this whole controversy and what you think I may have missed. And yeah, thank you so much. And watch American Sniper, it's actually a good movie.